I woke up on a beach. I have no memories. And a girl with a bird on her head is telling me I'm special. Sound familiar? We've seen the amnesiac protagonist trope 1,000 times. But Wuthering Waves promised something different. A darker, more industrial fantasy world. I went into the Huanglong arc with mixed feelings. Some said the story was a mess, some said it was peak. But today I want to walk you through my actual experience playing it. No hype, no hate, just my journey from a confused amnesiac to the savior of Jinzhou. So let's get into it. Let's address the elephant in the room. The first few acts of Huanglong are a lot. I spent the first 3 hours feeling like I was in a science lecture I didn't even sign up for. Terms like tacit discords, resonators, and frequency energy were being thrown all around with little weight. And then there was the voice acting. My personal experience here was one of vibe check failure. I wanted to love Yang, but the early English direction felt so stiff. It felt like the voice actors were being told to sound American while reading a script that didn't quite sound like human speech. And if you're playing this for the first time, my advice, hold on. The first 2 acts are the barrier to entry. They're the tutorial not just for gameplay, but for your patience. Just as I was about to hit the skip button on my soul, he showed up. Scar. He stole the show. No one could tell me he didn't. Meeting Scar in the village was the first time I actually leaned forward in my chair. He wasn't just a bad guy. You'd understand, he was a philosophical anarchist. He tells you a story about a sheep and a wolf, and suddenly, boom, the world of Wuthering Waves felt dangerous. The tonal shift here was jarring in a good way. He moved from go here, talk to this person, to what if everything the government told you was a lie? This was the first hook. The first actual hook. It made me realize that the game wants to be dark. It just took its time in getting there. The boss fight with Scar was also the first time the combat and the story felt perfectly in sync. Then we hit the Norfall Barrens. If the first act was a lecture, this was an Avengers movie. Seeing the backward rain for the first time was visually stunning. My experience here changed from following a plot to participating in a war. This is where Jiyan shines. He doesn't just give you quests, he gives you a reason to fight. The flashback sequences where you see him losing his comrades made the Midnight Rangers feel like more than just NPCs. They felt like a weary military force on the brink of extinction. I started caring more about Jinzhou not because the magistrate told me to, but because I saw the cost of defending it. Everything leads to this, the Grand War Storm. The cinematic quality in the final hour of the Huanglong arc is, in my opinion, some of the best in the gacha genre. When Jinshi finally steps up and you see the power of the Sentinel hue, the yapping from Act 1 suddenly makes sense. You realize that all of the setup was to make this moment feel earned. And then the Dreamless, fighting your own dark reflection while the music swells, that was the moment I was all in. The gameplay was fast, the visuals were crisp, and for the first time I felt like the Lord Arbiter the game kept calling me. It wasn't just a story beat, it was a payoff for the 15 hours I put in. So looking back at my journey through Huanglong, was it worth the rocky start? Yes, but with a caveat. Wuthering Waves has a momentum problem in its early hours. If you can push through the exposition-heavy start, the reward is a high-octane, emotionally resonant war story that sets a massive stage for what's to come in the Black Shores and Renacida. Kuro Games clearly learned the lesson because the writing quality only goes up from here. It gets better. Huanglong is the foundation. A bit shaky in the corners, but built to support something truly epic. But what's your turning point in the Huanglong arc? Was it the Scar fight, or did Jiyan win you over? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you haven't already, don't forget to watch my initial review and experience playing Wuthering Waves, and why the combat system is different from many other related games. And if you're still in the early acts, keep going. It gets much better. Take care.